This year marks the fourth year that the Nature Trust of BC has been involved in the Kootenay Connect initiative, a multi-year project funded through Environment and Climate Change Canada's community-nominated priority places for species at risk. Once again, projects took place within the Wycliffe focal area, a stunning and ecologically significant area in the southern Rocky Mountain Trench, having a diversity of habitats that support several species at risk and serves as an important regional wildlife corridor. Within the focal area lies the Wycliffe Conservation Complex, an approximately 1,100-hectare assemblage of 23 conservation lands owned and managed by Nature Conservancy of Canada, the BC Ministry of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship, and the Nature Trust of British Columbia. The conservation partners have been united in their efforts over the past 4 years to maintain, enhance, and restore conservation values within the complex in a number of ways. The management plan identified invasive plants, trespass, and derelict fragmenting infrastructure as threats to ecological values on the complex, including species at risk. Thus, the conservation partners have embarked on a coordinated invasive plant management effort, as well as extensive fence repair, replacement, removal, and new installation across the complex. This video describes Year 4 project activities. 2022 marked the third year of invasive plant treatments across the complex. Once again, the East Kootenay Invasive Species Council was contracted for planning, coordination, monitoring, data entry, and reporting functions. It subcontracted treatments to Lee and Eric Holm of Mountain View Resources Limited. Planning meetings and a site visit were held in May and June to ensure coordination across the land base. Treatment sites and species were prioritized according to the Invasive Species Management Plan developed by EKIS. Clearview, a selective herbicide for post-emergent control of annual and perennial invasive plants, was used for all chemical treatments. Treatments occurred between August and October, in which 6 species were targeted on 19 sites. In total, 23.3 hectares were treated.
All right, my name is Gabriella Hallis. I am the program assistant with the East Kootenay Invasive Species Council, and with me is...
My name is Emma. I'm the field operations coordinator at EKIS.
And today we're at the Wycliffe Conservation Complex monitoring some chemical treatments that were done here last year, just looking at efficacy of treatments on various invasive plants.
Monitoring is a critical component of this work. In 2022, treatment monitoring for site completion and efficacy was completed on 26% of the treatment sites. An additional component of monitoring has been the establishment of 11 permanent long-term effectiveness monitoring plots. While the results won't undergo statistical analysis until 2024, preliminary results are showing a decrease in the total mean invasive plant percentage cover over the past 3 years in 9 of the 11 plots. This is encouraging data consistent with the results we're seeing on the ground. In this photo, the treatment line is clearly visible with invasive sulfur cinquefoil predominant to the right, while the grass community is reestablishing on the left. This work is important in ensuring that native plant communities, some rare and endangered, are not lost, and that critical habitat for species at risk is maintained and restored. The fence component of the project represented the greatest expenditure of time, effort, and funds. Fences are an important tool in guarding sensitive conservation values from livestock trespass and unauthorized motor vehicle access. Yet, as an important regional connectivity corridor, it's important that fences at the complex are designed and built to allow for wildlife passage. The partners utilized the fence assessment database compiled last year to prioritize 8 sub-projects in 2022. An exceptional amount of planning work was required. Temporary road access permits were necessary and secured from Tech and the City of Kimberley. Legal surveys were completed to ensure new fence builds weren't trespass. A temporary bridge was installed. Bid documents were created and a procurement process initiated. In July, prospective contractors attended a mandatory site visit before bid submission, and contracts were awarded to 3 different contractors. Most work occurred over the autumn months, in which experienced local contractors completed fence repairs, removed hazardous derelict fences that were no longer needed, replaced fences in poor condition, and also constructed new fences where they had not previously been located along property boundaries. In total, more than 12 kilometers of fence line was addressed. All fences utilized wildlife-friendly specifications. This included reducing the number of wire strands from 5 to 4, raising the bottom strand, and lowering the top strand for wildlife permeability. Meanwhile, the bottom barbed wire strand was substituted for smooth wire to aid in ground level passage, as shown in this drawing. Droppers were installed between the fence posts to increase its rigidity and visibility. Reflective markers were installed on some fence lines to also enhance visibility and reduce entanglement hazard to ground nesting birds and ungulates. In select locations, we reduced the fence to 2 strands where it intersected with high-use game trails. Early indications are these modifications are working for wildlife. These fence projects are also ensuring that habitat values within the complex are being protected, enhanced, and restored for both common and species at risk. This photo shows privately grazed land to the left and the NTBC conservation land to the right in 2021. The next photo shows the same area the following autumn. After just 1 year, the differences are dramatic. The new fence is allowing the land to rest. We expect there to be other conservation wins like this in the future with our fencing projects. A big thanks to Environment and Climate Change Canada and the Columbia Basin Trust for their significant financial contributions. The Wycliffe Conservation Complex partners also contributed funding and substantial in-kind labor to the project. We also wish to thank all of the contractors that assisted us, particularly Mark Trudeau of the Rocky Mountain Trench Natural Resource Society, who served as project manager. Kootenay Connect is facilitated by the Kootenay Conservation Program, and we thank them for their leadership of this initiative.